Hello everyone. Today we're starting the third chapter of module 1, which is different units. Okay. This the purpose of this chapter is to understand the different unit of course which come across while we are doing the electrification for any house or building. Okay. These units will come again and again. So the purpose of this chapter is to understand their meaning, the meaning of these different units, and how the value of these units affect our decisions. Okay, so let us just understand these units one by one. Okay, so the units V is basically represent volt. Okay, uh, it is either used as a unit of supply voltage or as a rating for appliance operating voltage. Okay, these two things are where we see V, that is volt. A is represent amperes. Okay, it is used for the current drawn by any appliance. Okay, or any load. Ampere is basically the current drawn by the load. Watt or kilowatt is a unit of power. Okay, a unit of power which is consumed by any appliance or any load, or the power rating of the device. It is either represent in watt or kilowatt. Kilowatt is nothing but 10 to the power 3 multiplied by watt. Okay. Kilowatt hour. Kilowatt hour is a unit of energy. When we measure the watts in a particular duration, okay, to be precise, if the time is in hours, then we use the unit kilowatt hour. It is used in the billing purposes. Okay, so these 4 5 units are the most common units which come across when we are doing electrification. Now I have a general question for you. Please find out that how much 1 kilowatt of energy is costing in your area. Okay, this will be act as an input for in a quiz questions for you. So please aware about this thing. Now let us understand these different units. Okay, via un, unpractical nameplate rating. So here I have taken an example of a Sony TV nameplate rating. Here we can see what are the units are represented. First unit is this. Okay, second unit is this, third one is this, fourth one is this. Okay, so these are different units. Now you need to see here, this sign basically represent AC voltage. Okay, so this Sony television is able to operate or will operate, okay, satisfactorily between 110 or 240 volt AC. Okay, and here this 50/60 hertz is basically this Sony television will able to operate satisfactorily either on 50 hertz supply or 60 hertz supply. These are basically the frequencies of my sinusoidal waveform. Now this 250 watt, here we can see they have mentioned that this 250 watt will be applicable when my voltage is 120 volt. Okay, and my frequency is 60 hertz. So the power requirement or the power input for the television is 250 watt at 120 volt. Okay, now we can calculate how much current it will draw. So if I want to know the current is my which is I need to find out, and we already know that power is equal to voltage multiplied by current. So from this, current will be equal to power divided by voltage. Now there is one more factor which also comes as a power factor, but okay, for the sinusoidal loads, so I am assuming it as a unity for this television. Okay, so from this, by this assumption, um, I will be getting 250 divided by 120. This will give me 12 2 jar 24, then 1.010, then 0.08. So my current will be 2.08 ampere. Okay. So why this current is useful and how it will impact? Now this will be helpful while we will be selecting, the socket size. Okay, you've seen this type of socket or the switch. Okay, now these sockets in the IC, they are come either in 616 ampere, or in our NEC standard they come across 515 or 620. So for this particular load current zone, we will be selecting, we can select a 6 ampere in the IC standard or 515 in NEC standard. So this current value will be helpful while selecting and sizing the sockets, the switches, the wires. Okay, we will see these things in detail, okay, in our next modules. So we have seen what is the meaning of those different units, but via unpractical example also. So this is all about this third chapter. In the next chapter, in the chapter 4th, which is chapter 1.4, in the concept of metering, we'll be looking at how this metering works, how the energy companies charge us, okay, how they give us a billing. This thing we'll be looking in our next chapter, chapter 1.4. Till then, thank you everyone. Thank you for your time.